Welcome to the Bigfooty Eagles RDP Episode 5, Weird Background Noises. This week we'll discuss yet another loss to Freo, Embley's piercing hit, 3-week Pav missing Murray, and we'll swan about with freelancing Vonn.
We're flying high. We're the West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kids of the big game. We're the Eagles.
I am QS, and joining me this week is the birthday boy, pantskyle.
Excellent to be here. I can't wait to get into all the action.
That's what you said last week. Also, Keys.
Welcome, guys, and straight at the outset, I just want to put it out there, Stuart Broad is a...
I don't know. That's a really quick off the bat, Nat Newey, that one. And the doc to show you why.
Hello, and I too am excited for action.
I bet you are. And also, I know we promised to have Coxie, a.k.a. Okar, on the show this week, but he cannot make it due to external commitments. However, we have somebody to replace him, and it's relevant to the game this week, and she's much better looking than him, Vonn from the Sydney board. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm great. I don't have anything witty to say, so...
That's okay.
Neither did we.
I'll be weird enough for the both of us.
That is a fact. After, I guess, having finally a win to discuss last week, we are back to where we started, not discussing a win. We played the Dockers. It was our home game. We had 38,000 of our fans, and we treated them to a loss. However, I think we all thought that we were going to get flogged. That'd be fair to say, wouldn't it, Keys?
General consensus last week in the podcast was that we'd go down. I mean, in the finish 28, I think I said 35. 28 points was probably close to that, but I think 28 points was a harsh reflection of how close we did get. But we certainly did better than I thought we were going to.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, especially with the team we had out there. It was pretty makeshift. It would be one way to describe it, especially with the midfielders out, Shuey, Selwood, Kerr, and then the guys in the back line, Waters and Hearn. So I think we did okay. The intensity was right up there, but those skill errors, Doc, what did you reckon?
Yeah, well, a couple of crucial ones in the last quarter. We probably, I think, at least by hand, we were as clean as we had been all season for the first three quarters. And then, I don't know whether it was just tiredness or whether Fremantle improved, but it all went to water not long after that. Obviously, the one that everyone will talk about was Cox's, that many people are saying cost us the game.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad for a bloke of his experience, but I think when you lose by, in a way that we did in the end, it's hard to sort of pin one specific moment, but, it was disappointing, but there were enough positives there to think that we might be good again in 4 or 5 seasons' time.
I don't think,
no sooner.
I don't think we had enough of the ball in the last quarter to be clean with it, did we?
No, they got better, and to be honest, at 3/4 time, I think most of us thought that they'd get better, and it was going to be whether we could get better again. And with the cattle we had on the park, we probably couldn't. So I think we pushed it just about as far as we could. It was disappointing to get completely run over in the end, but it wasn't entirely unexpected.
Yeah. Oh, well, there goes your 9-point theory, Kyle. I don't think that's come off yet, has it?
I said 9 goals.
Are you sure?
That one
Still
didn't work
didn't come
either.
off then, did it?
I said 9 goals.
Yes. So, all right, we sort of all agree that the effort was there, but, I think the effort was there from some of the younger guys, some of the less experienced guys, Hutchings and Carter. Gee, wasn't he magnificent? Let's have a chat about him.
Yeah, he was excellent.
I didn't plan to talk about him, but just during the course of that discussion there, it reminded me how good he actually was. He absolutely pants Ballantyne, I thought.
You have a go,
Pretty
Kyle.
much.
Yeah, Kyle.
Do
I
something.
agree.
I don't know. He's not.
No,
saying
no. Look, it was a pretty good debut for the young lad, but I think Ballantyne was a little bit off his game, and it was a good moment for him to debut on that position because he wasn't playing Ballantyne at his best. But I was actually really, really, really impressed with the King, Jack Darling. I thought he was the standout player for us.
He did have a good game, didn't he?
And Maston.
He was
Maston
spectacular.
even better.
Spectacular.
Darling,
well,
Darling,
Okay.
you could see it in the first 5 minutes. He was up and about. He
on.
was moving around.
Yep.
Right from the start, it looked like he was going to have a good game, and he maintained that right the way through.
It's because I sprayed him on here last week. I said he was struggling.
Yeah, you did. You gave him a spray, didn't you? He's having a bit of a listen, the King. He
wasn't happy. He wasn't happy at all.
He made himself a bit busy too, I thought. He wasn't getting a lot of it at first, so he sort of tried to get himself into the game, and it came off and ended up sort of being there everywhere. I think there was a point there where he was actually in the midfield later in the game, and he sort of looked to have some good run. And
yeah, he moved up.
Yeah, gee whiz, that goal there where he just hit the pack at lightning speed, that's something we haven't seen for a while.
Do you reckon that team would be much better if Kennedy and Darling decided to be excellent on the same game?
Be handy.
It seems to be. It's either one or the other, isn't it?
Well, it's mainly Kennedy, but I mean, if they both fired, you're looking at 10 goals between two players. And then if Mark Lacroix decided to become an AFL footballer again, it's almost 13 to 15 goals just from three forwards. We have such a good forward line, but
it hasn't been that good this year, has it?
It's been pretty terrible, yeah. And you look at last year as well. Darling with Kennedy out was spectacular. So they probably haven't played a lot of football with each other. But when they do click, I think we'll orgasm, all of us. Yes,
I think so. But you mentioned Lacroix. That's an interesting one. He was, well, let's just say it as it is. He's been pretty garbage this year compared to previous years. So he set a pretty high bar for himself. Do you, I guess, think that his best work is done inside 50 and not where they're trying to play him? I know it's something I've said myself on the boards before, but he just doesn't look agile enough to be able to play in the midfield. Doesn't sort of know where to position himself. He's got more of a forwards brain. He just wants that ball and to be able to kick it.
The only time I play him in the midfield is if we're in the forward half. So from the centre forward, that's the only time. If it ever goes back in defence, I want him hanging off.
Yeah, that's it. And he just seems to go missing in the midfield. That's basically it. He doesn't sort of tackle as hard. He's not a natural midfielder, and I think he's being wasted.
We should draft one.
Middle. We should draft what, a midfielder?
Yeah, or get one in. We shouldn't have to rely on our small forwards to be midfielders at that club.
No, shit, no.
Ridiculous.
No, yeah. we need to definitely look at that.
All
I can say is Natanui that.
Natanui what?
Good self-censorship.
I wasn't saying fuck.
Oh. What were you saying?
Natanui.
I mean, it is an interesting thing, and I think. What do you reckon, Keys? When sort of we've got guys like Wellingham, Shuey, Selwood back, does Lacroix fit in the midfield anymore?
Lacroix into midfield, I don't think he's not fit enough to get in there for a start, and we need him up forward. He's a forward, he's not a midfielder, and I think we've tried it in the past, and it hasn't worked. So I'm not sure what's going to be different now.
Keys, just as I said before, which you clearly heard because you were here the whole time, would you think that the only time that Lacroix should play in the midfield would be from the forward of the centre square or the centre circle forward of that, and never actually play in the midfield behind that?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Keys is actually in the boot of somebody's car right now. It's going to be on the news shortly, I'd wager.
I'm actually walking in, just going through the front door.
He's wandered into the set of Underbelly.
Wow.
Seems we're improving, guys.
Breaking into someone's house.
Yeah, I think the quality of these things is going backwards.
It definitely is, without doubt.
It's definitely
I
gotten
don't
very
think there was
lazy.
quality to start with, guys.
Now, the first one was alright.
Oh,
The first one was alright.
Oh, snap.
We're all fresh and ready to impress, and now we're like 50 gamers who couldn't give a toss.
Going backwards.
Yeah, no,
oh, we're
All
West
right,
Coast
that's okay.
guys.
So
Is this recording?
it is recording,
Oh,
and
excellent.
We're surely cutting it.
we very rarely do we edit things on this show. Hey, I guess the other thing is with Lacroix into the midfield, it's really robbing Peter to pay Paul, isn't it?
I think
Yes,
so.
and Paul didn't deserve that.
Who's Paul?
What?
Who's Paul?
I don't know.
You just made that up, didn't you? And of course, out of that match, we had another suspension. Embley's gone for 2 weeks. What did you reckon of that hit, Keys? Do you reckon that was worthy of 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably fair enough, I guess. They don't like contact to the head, and I mean, when you looked at it, it always looked likely. And I think Pav got what he deserved for hitting Vonn's boy Mitch. So
Yeah.
he probably should have got more.
Hopefully it made Mitch Brown a little bit smarter though.
Ooh.
So you mean he's very smart.
No one ever. He looks like he is constantly in a state of concussion.
Because he probably
No, he
is. He
doesn't.
gets belted up a bit.
That is a big call, but we can talk about that in a little bit, as to not rile up our guest. Now, the problem I have with the Embley one is when we
Noises again.
That's okay.
So many noises.
We
Yours is the worst.
Oh.
there we go, sledging. The problem I have with the Embley one is that basically I don't think he had any other choice. He was going for the ball, making a contest for the ball, and Clancy Pearce decided it would be a good idea to make a harder contest for the ball and sort of wrap himself around the front. And what that did then is lowered his centre of gravity. And well, I suppose there was no real other alternative. That's the way I look at it. However, in what Keys is saying is right, that any time you choose to go the bump and you hit the head, then you're in trouble. So,
Why slide in with the bump?
Well, I think what he was trying to do.
One of those two players put his head over the ball. The other one didn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't until after Embley had actually gone for that contest, because he probably thought, well, this is going to be a clash of strength here, and we just bump each other and see who gets the ball. But it wasn't until after he'd committed to that Pearce decided he'd actually go for the ball and lower, and that's.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it wasn't Crowley.
Well,
Well,
Valentine got chinned later on. That was the
legally,
highlight of Young Carter's debut.
yeah, no, that was a good one.
An accidental chinning.
Yeah, nothing. to do.
Accidentally swatted a fly.
Yeah.
It's just that trailing elbow, wasn't it? Just beautifully connected with the bloke's jaw and bust his lip up. So it's probably an improvement to his face, to be honest. But g'day, Ballas, if you're listening. I doubt you are.
But yeah, I think Embley was a bit unlucky in that there wasn't a hell of a lot more he could do. As in, like, Pearce pretty much just threw his head in front of him. But he kind of cocked his shoulder and his elbow a little bit, and then he got him high. So I think 2 weeks is good for us. I think we're all hoping for 3 or 4, but we'll take 2.
Yeah.
No. We
Well, how many more has Embley got
We
to get to
needed none.
250?
we wanted none. We want the 250. We don't want the idea that he's going to go one more season.
Yeah,
That's true.
can I
But we
have?
don't win the thingamajig games anyway, the milestone games. And especially don't win when Embley's playing.
Well, he's got about 5 to go, hasn't he? Yeah, something like 7, 243.
Might be.
Yeah, he'll have to play
4.
most. Yeah, 246 I think he's on.
He's been playing well though.
Oh,
That-
he was good on
that-
Derby. And I said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you did too, actually.
I did say that.
Yeah,
I
you
said
did.
he's going
I'll
to
give it
come in and have a big derby. So,
To be fair, he had a big
lost
quarter.
pajamas pants.
To be fair, a big quarter, but that's all right.
Yeah,
We'll give you
no,
that.
he's going to be a bit of a loss. I think he provides that big body type run down the wing, and he doesn't seem to have appeared to have lost too much pace either. No, he has been good. I mean, it's just the disposal and the decision making. But gee, that goal from the boundary line, that was a beauty.
That was a ripper.
Yeah, it was good.
That got me. I was
That was
very
good.
excited by that.
Did it make you tingle?
It's a good.
I wasn't
no,
expecting.
Nah, no one was.
What?
Huh?
What?
So,
Alright, let's start again.
so anyway, Pav,
Fuck
he decided to go the bump on poor old Mitch Brown, who seems to be copping things left, right, and centre, gouges to the
Constantly
eye.
looks like he's concussed.
Yeah, well, be that as it may, he seems to be quite an intelligent player. He knows where to put himself, and he, whilst his
He
disposal,
was.
I
he
agree.
was
He knows where to put himself.
his disposal
He
isn't
was
great
fisting.
at times.
fisting like a god in that game.
Almost worthy of the golden fist.
Almost.
Some of his fisting was golden. So good. I was impressed. Very happy. His best game in a long time.
Yeah, I
And
think
he
so.
still wasn't great. He made a few mistakes
Yeah, but
towards the end there.
you don't want
He was
you
better.
don't want him to have you don't want him to have the ball. You want him to only slightly touch the ball.
Excellent point.
Yeah, well,
Are
he
we-
took some great intercepting marks too.
Yeah, he definitely did.
He gets up
He
there.
let the ball dribble between his legs again. He loves
Yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that last time we did that.
Just can't pick
Are
up
we-
the ball, but he's
Are we hoping he stays on next year, or are we hoping he gets traded?
he'll
Depends
get
what we can get
traded.
for
He
him.
won't stay. He won't. He won't be at West Coast next year. That's my mail.
What's your sauce?
His brother,
His brother.
What's your real sauce?
barbecue.
I've heard that GWS are going after both Brown twins.
Twin Browns. Gee, that'd be good for you, wouldn't it?
Actually, we would do really well if GWS was into Mitch Brown. We would do better than probably what we'd get out of St Kilda. But
Yeah,
he
I'd
is
say so.
definitely 100% going to Victoria.
Victoria. Specifically Victoria.
Yeah, the Victorian team.
Oh, okay. Is there any
If
way you
both
can
Browns
reveal a
Sydney,
source there?
That would be pretty good.
Hang on, Von's swooning again.
Alright,
Kyle,
guys,
I'm
done
gonna-
swinging. But
okay.
no, I have heard that GWS are after both the Browns.
There you
They
go.
are.
Jeez,
They-
imagine that. That'd be like 2 Browns in Sydney. Would be like for Von would be like a kid in a candy shop, wouldn't it?
Sure would.
It would be more than a kid in a candy shop.
Oh,
I'm
these-
just saying.
Might almost be tempted to swap jumpers and head down to Skoda every couple of weeks.
Yeah, like every day.
Training sessions, photo opportunities.
Don't worry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You reckon
Anyway, I'm gonna be as persistent
Alright,
as
so
Ross
he's-
here.
So
And
he's
just keep
gone
on
next
hammering
year then.
Kyle to try to get a source out of him here. Where's your mail coming from, Kyle?
Common sense.
No. I'm not copping general hunches. Out with it, son.
Put him on the spot.
Oh,
Well, he's coming in with all these accusations.
Ash, what?
What was that word, Brad Scott?
Ash's
Was that even a word?
ASSUS.
Okay. So this is what happens
IONS.
when you forget who you're talking to. You make a joke that makes sense to people that aren't fake people from the internet, and they're probably not going to get it. Okay.
Oh, accusations?
Okay. You're making some false accusations here. I need you to please explain.
Casting dispersions.
Go on,
Asperger's
Kyle, out with
in
it.
ears right now, Kyle.
Let's be honest. Nothing has changed from 12 months ago besides the fact he's getting a little bit more game time. He is going to Victoria. I promise you that.
He's been playing
Alright,
every
someone
week.
cop this. Yeah, bookmark this, because if he ends up wrong, then he's going to cop it.
If
Right.
he does not get traded at the end of this season,
It'll be good.
I will no longer be a West Coast board moderator.
And you'll
There's
give
every
that
chance
position
to be the
full
case
time to
anyway.
me.
Yeah, I'll give it to you again.
Let's make it better on that. If he is not a West Coast player, let's say he gets traded at the end of the season. If he does
Yeah.
not get traded at the end of this season, Kyle, you have to change
Post
your username. No one wants that. Change your avatar to that delightful picture, your Skype picture that we've all seen of you doing your best job for a year. 12 months.
With Brazzers logo.
Yeah, right.
If Mitch Brown does not get traded specifically to somewhere in Victoria. GWS doesn't count because you've been very explicit about that.
Yep.
If Mitch Brown does not get traded to a Victorian club at the end of this season, then that pretty little picture of you sticking your head out, the world gets to see that.
With brazzers on it.
Can I still be the moderator?
Yes.
You can do whatever you want with that picture, mate. You can do whatever you want. No one's taking you seriously anyway.
Can you change your username to pantskyle as well?
And you have to be
It actually
pantskyle.
actually used to be pantskyle because when I first became a mod, the admins of Bigfooty, as beautiful as they are, thought it'd be funny to change my name to pantskyle.
I think
Okay.
that's
It
just
is
logical.
pretty funny.
The most
Fucking
important, the picture call. That's what we're all here for.
Yeah,
I'll do it. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, no,
Don't worry.
good.
I won't have to do it.
Good stuff.
Alrighty.
The next thing we need to talk about, of course, is our young player Murray Newman decided it was a good idea to leave it.
I've got to go.
What?
What?
I've got to go.
What do you mean?
Oh, he's leaving at quarter time.
Oh, bye.
Okay, call me Murray.
That'd have to be the worst joke, wouldn't it?
Oh, boy.
If only that wasn't so natural.
Oh, he's had that written for a while.
Yeah. I reckon he's been thinking about that all week.
Yeah,
That's-
at least.
Well,
That's why he wanted to discuss Murray Newman. Because he had that one lined up.
I didn't. That was ad hoc, and I did have to go and sort out a pizza order. So I did actually have to go momentarily.
Right, okay. Do you still need to go? Do you need a leave of absence?
No, I should be right.
You're right now.
what kind
Okay.
of pizza?
Yeah.
What pizza
Is
did
this
you
on
get?
pause too?
No.
No, it's real life.
Well, we
Oh.
don't pause the show, Von.
There's no
Oh,
pauses.
of course not.
Do
No.
not know where you get that information from.
Never.
Revealing the secrets.
Yeah.
This is not the Sydney board.
So Murray Newman
Not as good as
decided
the
to...
Super Bowl.
Oh. You're lucky you're in
Someone-
Beijing.
No.
The story is that he had some family or personal problems that he needed to attend to. That's what the club's come out and said. Still, though, I mean, wouldn't you tell someone that you need to go instead of just upping, grabbing your crap and leaving?
This kind of problem, or this kind of issue that we get that comes out of our beautiful football club, happens to also bring in the most popular superhero of them all, the keyboard warrior. Now,
Ooh, yes. Go on.
let's be honest. He is a 19-year-old kid who's obviously pretty immature, and something has happened. He's going for a shit of a time, and the only thing that we've got people talking about is how he should just be dropped or delisted, and we should turn our backs on him.
Yeah, that's
Fucking hell. Turn it up, you dickheads.
a bit rough, isn't it? I mean, I don't agree with that. All he needed to do was have a bit of common sense and go, look, mate, I've got to go. Just because I guess, whilst it's probably not your first thought, and you probably hit the nail on the head in saying it, maybe it's just a bit of immaturity, and he has got all those things going on in the background. Sort of can't imagine what it's like to be on those sorts of charges. But at the same time, in order to show a bit of respect for both clubs, One Districts and the Eagles, you've got to say something before leaving, don't you? But I agree with you that it's a bit far-fetched to say that he should be delisted or dropped.
Not everyone has the capabilities to do that. Not everyone thinks that what their decision that they're making at that time is going to be the wrong decision. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you might argue that after the events that led to the criminal charges, somebody would have had a word with the guy and said, "Come on, mate, this is what needs to happen. This is how you need to conduct yourself." So,
Of course, but that's easier said than done.
Hmm.
His personality may not allow him to be that type of person yet.
Then I guess that's where the assumptions come from. Do we want to run the risk of that never eventuating in him not turning into the kind of person that shows a bit of professionalism? That's probably where those...
If he was 25 plus and he was a couple of years at the club and he'd played, I'd be pretty filthy and pretty disgusted at it. But at this time, I would just prefer that he gets his head screwed on.
Yeah, I think that's
Have a long
I think that's probably the club's attitude. They've given him compassionate leave or whatever. And probably just said, look, go away, get your head right, don't worry about football for a while.
Because he's got all the talent in the world. Missing a couple of months of football is not going to matter for this kid at all. And it could pay off. Absolute dividends.
Oh, it could. I mean, you look at Stevie J. He's a magnificent player, but he had his own issues earlier down the track. And, you know, Geelong Footy Club persisted with him, and look at the player he's turned out to be. Now, nobody's saying that the same thing won't happen with Murray Newman. I guess what people are probably a bit pissed off about is the saga we went through with Cousins and his friends. And we sort of were a bit lackadaisical to a degree with those guys.
Worried. We're very worried about our own image as a club, as fans, I reckon. It's a bit too precious about it.
I don't think it's so much that. It's more that we've come such a long way since those days. And we you know, you've got to remember, we copped a full-on investigation into our behaviour.
Of course.
And so we try and keep those types of things out of there. And I think some people have just sort of said, well, look, hey, that shows a blatant disrespect to the way the club is these days, in that they've been quite supportive, even when he was shitting his time trials and came back in terrible form. So nobody's criticising him for leaving. It's more just the fact that probably the way he went about
I disagree with that.
Yeah, well, we can all... We've all got our own opinions on that, but I probably agree that calling for delistings, etc., is probably a bit harsh, because he's a young kid. He's got a lot of talent to burn. We just need to see some of it. Has he been any good in the waffle this year?
He's had a couple of half-decent games. His form hasn't been great.
You probably ought to allow some concessions for the off-field stuff too.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I'd like to get him to see someone like who's captain. Just get him and just say, look, just spend some time with this guy. I mean, I think he's a good one for to talk to, because you've got a talented player who has career ruined by injuries, and more than just being on his club, you can go through with Newman and say, this is what you can miss out on if you're not doing the right thing. Nikoski's didn't do everything right, and he still didn't have luck go his way. Newman's got all the talent in the world, and he's got the opportunity there. Someone like Nikoski to mentor him could do in the world of good.
Yeah, well,
what does the doc feel?
Yeah, what's your view, Doc?
As the doc.
He's been sitting there that quietly.
What would be your professional opinion about this situation?
I don't think any of us really know enough about the situation to be judging the kid. To be completely honest, we're all sort of guessing as to what's going on in his head and what the whole story is. And I think, given that we don't know all the details about it and exactly what's going on, it's pretty hard to make, as outsiders, any judgment calls. I've got faith that the club will handle it in the best way, both for Murray and for the club. Like QS said, I think we have come a very long way since the Cousin days, and I think we've learned a lot of lessons from that. And I'd be very surprised if we make any really poor judgment decisions, like I said, for either him or for the club on the whole. So I think in this case we just sort of need to sit back a little bit and let the people that know a bit more than us, as pundits sitting in the back, take care of it, I think. But you guys can talk about it all you want. That's why I've been staying back, not getting involved, sitting on the fence, baby.
Beautifully said, Doctor. Beautifully said.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
I think too, if the club gets a sniff of anything that's not right, that they don't like, they'll probably do something about it in the background that we won't even see that.
Yeah, that's right. So,
look, I think the guy deserves a chance anyway. He's been putting up some pretty ordinary stuff. He's made some mistakes that have put him in that position, but everyone is afforded the opportunity to move on with their life. Whether that's with us remains to be seen, but I'm sure that, as you say, Doc, the club will make that call. And there seems to be a pretty good culture there these days. The guys seem to be all pretty close, so I'm sure that, as Keith said, some of the other players will probably help him there. So.
Yeah, are you still talking, or is someone else having a crack?
No, we can move on from that now.
Cool. I think, like I said, I think that one will play out in due course. There'll be more for us to talk about that in the coming months, and goodness knows how long it'll go on for, but I think at the moment we're best just to let that one slide for a little bit longer.
Yes. We've got a pretty tough game coming up this week, and that is against the Swans of Sydney. They came over last year and they completely pantsed us. I mean, granted we had no forward line, but our midfield was completely overrun. And they were the 2012 premiers, so that tells us they're a pretty decent side. How do you guys see this one, Pants?
Oh, well, this is a tough game for us. We're gonna hope this week that our ins are gonna read some of those players that are on test for this week. We didn't get it last week, and I think that was the difference between winning and losing. So Sunday afternoon, Subiaco Oval or Patterson Stadium, whatever we want to call it now. If we can get Kerr, Wellingham, and Shuey back, I think we're a real chance. I really think the Swans, I think they're beatable at this time of the year. They're still I think the top three teams in the comp as clear as day, but I think they're definitely beatable. But we need those players in because we go in with the same team that we did against Freo, they will belt us.
I think so too. And how about we invite our guests to give us a bit of a rundown on how Sydney are travelling, what their woes may be, and maybe a chance to respond to Kyle. Vonn?
No, I thought what Kyle said was it was pretty spot on. We have, if you look at like our team list that played last week against GWS, it was nothing like the list that won the flag last year. So also with Benny McBabe, he got 3 weeks and also a hamstring injury, so that's another huge loss. It's definitely beatable, especially if you get some more strength in the midfield, where I think if you stop our midfield, you kind of stop our forward line, because that's pretty much non-existent right now too.
Yeah, you don't have a forward line.
So if you can stop our midfield, we don't. Like, we really don't. If you can stop
but Tippett is not a good footballer.
No, Tippett's only one man though. Like, if he's off,
he's not a very good footballer. At the end of the day, he's not in the top 10% of football players. Whereas our defenders in the defending position, we've probably got 2 in that position in McKenzie and Glass. I would be surprised if Tippett even kicks a goal.
I'm going to pencil in for about 6 or 7 goals now you've said that.
Yeah, you've really got us in there, haven't you?
He wouldn't know how to kick 7 goals.
Once he listens to this podcast, you're in trouble. He's going to go, I'm going to show him.
Him and Jack Darling will be sitting there just stewing over it.
He's just going to try and give me some sort of
Tippett played well against GWS, and I think we played 2 of the lower sides before that, I think. Well, aside from Port, who absolutely did us in. But aside from that, he hasn't really come up against that much quality. So it'll be an interesting test. But, even before Tippett, we didn't really have a forward line anyway. So, like I said, if you stop our midfield, then you stop the whole team, because our midfielders kick goals. But,
well, that's
now
the thing, and I think that could be the biggest weakness for you guys, is because you won a grand final last year by not having a forward line and being very midfield focused, and they kicked a lot of goals, and they still kick a lot of goals. But the last thing your team really needs to do is ever be Tippett focused. Sort of like Hawks used to be with Franklin. You don't want that, because you want your midfielders to continue playing the way they are. And really, Tippett he's a sideshow on that main show, which is the midfield, which is still very, very good. As a Sydney Swan supporter, though, are you happy you got Kurt Tippett and are you paying him a lot of money?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on how much they're paying, because, the whole cola, all of that.
Around 800.
That's not something that I'm going to concern myself with. I believe that, my club is professional enough to handle their own finances well and to not lose players over this. So it's not something I'm too concerned with. I am happy we got Tippett, because we really needed a key forward. Last year we had LRT kind of playing that role, as well as Sam Reid, but he wasn't, setting the world on fire. So I am glad we got a key forward.
I think every team needs a forward marking target for those long bombs, because you're not always going to have the small midfielders running in those positions, or the ball being in the position for them to pick up and kick goals. But actually, speaking of the midfield, even with some of the outs, McGlynn, Jeddah, you've got guys like Tom Mitchell that have just slipped right in and are sort of tearing it up for young blokes. Brandon Jack as well, down back, Dane Ramp. So, it's still going to be a pretty formidable midfield to try and stop.
Did Gary Rowan play against GWS as well?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, how did he go for his first game? I didn't see the game.
Well, I wasn't there, but I think he kicked 2 goals. And I don't think he's lost any of his speed. But I don't think, obviously at this stage, he's going to be an in at all. Like, I don't think his fitness is there. I don't think he'll play.
You don't play him against GWS, not in preparation to play against West Coast, though. He plays. He'll definitely play.
No, he played in the reserves.
Oh, what reserves was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he doesn't play.
I think she knows what she's talking about here, Kyle.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she doesn't. I thought we were discussing the main game.
I get into fights with everyone.
I can't see. I can't see him playing after one reserves game. I'll probably have to agree with Vonn there. But
yeah,
I did not know we're talking about reserves.
That's okay. I'm still concerned about the midfield part of it. I don't think we've got any shutdown players to be able to shut down the midfield there. We're still reliant around Matty Prittis, whoever, he's got his detractors and his supporters. We all know that on our board. But, we don't have a shutdown player at the moment. Scotty Selwood would be the closest to that. Selwood.
No.
Oh, who's he going to go to?
Oh, don't even joke about it.
Please don't. Yeah.
Are we seriously thinking that Adam Selwood is not going to be an in this week? He'll be an in.
Well, who's he going to play on?
Who does he ever play on?
Excellent question.
Good point.
Gary Ryan could have played on crutches still, and Adam Selwood would still get you.
Adam Selwood still would have taken a specky on him and not fucking touched the ball.
Oh dear, no, it's Embly's job. At least with Embly out of the side, no one's taken a specky because the human stepladder is not playing. But look, yeah,
it was Scully this week, wasn't it? Main booted Scully in the head. Maybe there's a new one coming in. A new stepladder.
Well, that wasn't really a stepladder. That was just a get out of my way, wasn't it?
That was like almost instant death via knee.
Did someone on our board when that happened actually called Maine a dog for that?
Yes, they did.
I didn't see that.
Really
more than likely, yes.
I know. I made an off the cuff comment and said, "Look, isn't it funny that a bloke can get tapped on the shoulder and give away a free kick? Yet it's quite legal to knee a bloke in the back of the head when trying to take a specky." And somebody went off their tits at me saying, "How can you compare?" So I was like, "Well, hang on, mate. I'm just saying that it's just funny."
Just a joke, buddy. Just a joke.
So, mate, you're a dog for taking a good mark.
It was a good mark, and it just happened that Scully's head seemed to be the launch pad. That's all that happened, and I just found it amusing that anyway. That's it's in the past.
Who was that? Who was that? Someone was filthy at Bain. He was never going to be anything. And with the N-Dot?
Should have been 50, shouldn't it? N-Dot. It could have been. That should be post the week.
N-Dot?
That's close to post the week. I don't know, mate.
And by the way, N-Dot, if it was you, fucking Jamie Cripps is a good footballer, so shut up.
He's certainly coming along, Cripper. But yeah, going back to the point about the midfield, who's going to stop them?
Oh, our midfield will.
How?
I think Hutchings could be a good matchup for Hanbury.
Okay, so there's one taken out. Okay, just assume that he wins that matchup. So then, who goes to Kieran Jack?
Oh, well, we're not going to tag. We're just going to man up. It's going to be midfielders versus midfielders.
I think Kieran Jack
whoever runs harder.
Pick Aston.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good one.
Yeah, if we're assuming Wellingham plays, who does he?
Wellingham will play.
Is he just going to be the enforcer, you reckon?
Wellingham plays on Kennedy.
No, he doesn't tag. No. Prittis plays on Kennedy.
Oh,
yeah, that's probably. Yeah,
Prentice and Kennedy will go
Wellingham-
head to head, won't they?
Yeah.
I think so.
More than likely.
And
Yeah.
Wellingham will actually sit outside the packs because that's where he's best. We don't want him. He won't be in and under.
Well away from
He'll be
trampolines.
So, which
I was saying to someone today, I don't think there'll be many hard tags. It'll just be the midfield.
There won't be
going
any.
head-to-head,
There won't
like-
be any tag. We're West Coast. We don't tag.
Yeah, there's no such thing as tagging.
Yeah.
Tagging to us is writing graffiti on walls.
If one of your players have 40 disposals by third quarter, we won't do anything about it.
We'll just go, hey, that's cool.
We just hope he gets tired.
We applaud good performance.
Yes.
Well
Right.
done. Jolly good.
Well done, Kieran Jack. That's your 8th goal.
Kieran Jack, you really are a ripper.
Does anyone on your club even talk like that?
Yeah, Woosher does.
John Worsfold,
He-
you've never heard him talk?
That's his
No,
half.
he doesn't.
He's half
He puts on an accent.
Hello,
for
I'm
the-
John Worsfold. How's it going? Jolly good. And all that. And guess what we're going to do this week? We're going to do absolutely nothing different.
That was a smashing kick, young lad.
Get the crumpets, will you, Burns?
And football better than the other side.
For a scrum, damn it, scrum!
Right, okay. So who is going to win? Who's going to win? I think we're going to get...
Sydney.
Yeah, I reckon we're done by about 25 to 30 points here again.
Yep. I reckon it could well be similar to the Derby. We'll be close for a while, but then they'll get up.
Yeah, I think so too. Kyle?
Well, I'm going to give 2 scores for you because the first one is dependent on whether or not we get the ins that we think we're going to get in.
Okay.
So if we get the 3 main ones back anyway, I think we win by 2 goals. If we don't get any of them back, or we don't get all 3 of them back, we will lose by 3 goals.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes come Thursday. And Keys, what do you think?
I'm not going to qualify mine. We're going to win by 15 points.
Yep.
And Mitch is going to take a hanger on Mumford whilst waving to Vonn.
Big Mummy. Mitchy. Oh, he's going to do the business.
I
Okay.
actually wouldn't mind that.
Mind you, I tipped us by 69 points and what Carl Morton for the Ross Glendenning last week. So
If he wasn't sub, he would have won it.
You
You got
reckon-
ripped off.
Just on Kyle Morton, do we think he's going to play again this week, or not likely? We're
No,
not going to see
depends-
Morton versus
depends on
Vonn.
the ends.
Mr. September, Vonn. We're not going to see that.
Kale versus Mitch.
Oh, sorry, I thought you guys were talking about your Morton. No,
I'm talking about
Mr.
both
September, he went goalless in the reserves game. So I think what we're saying is, I think Membry might come in, like just a new debut player for us. But yeah, not sure. I think we'll go over experience though, so I think Morton will be in.
I think you'll play Morton if we play Morton.
It's a fair trade, I reckon.
Battle of the universe.
Morton
No, but
versus
ours
Morton.
is Mr. September. We don't need Mr. September. It's only July.
Well, we got Mr. August,
Yeah,
and he's just
it's
about to find his form.
maybe they can play them both. Play them both as a sub, so they can sit on the bench, have a chat, and have a little family catch up for a while, and then come on at 3/4 time each.
Yeah, that's the way. Well,
And then they can stand in the goal square and talk to each other and do nothing either.
our Morton's not Mr. September. He's Mr. 12 months.
Okay. But how did... But Kale... I mean, honestly, as soon as that game was finished, everyone was like, oh, we've got to delist Kale Morton because he's so shit.
Gee whiz, he came on in a quarter where we were getting pounded.
To be
Pounded.
fair, though.
And
To be fair, we were doing
he's-
all right
not
before he
only
came
did
on.
He set up an excellent goal, and his first touch was a pretty good clearance. And they were his only 2 touches, mind you. But can help. He's not. He's like Dalziel. He's got to play the game. You can't come on. He's not an impact player.
No, he needs
I'd
a
like
bit more
I'd
game
like to
time.
see him get a full game, just to see what he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not against Sydney.
Yeah, he'll die.
Hey,
No, I'd prefer Western Bulldogs or Gold Coast would
Yep.
be the
Gold Coast
better
Suns.
time.
Yeah. So, Vonn, what's your tip?
Even if you guys get those 3 ins, I reckon Sydney by 11.
Oh, nice close one.
11 goals. A bit harsh.
No, 11 points.
11 behinds.
1 goal's 1-5. Bit harsh.
I'm standing by my tip.
Right, okay. All right, well, Vonn, I want to thank you for coming on. I know that you had to put up with a fair bit of our random crap, but it was much appreciated and it was great to have you on.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you. See you
See you later,
later,
Von.
guys.
Thanks for joining.
See ya. We've got to do the post of the week. Mine's a really simple one. It came from the RDT today. It was posted by our good friend Superman, who calls himself Shoop these days because he didn't want to be associated with the Shoop. Basically, he's come on and said something that takes a lot of balls for a bloke to admit, and he said, "I think my dick is broken."
Yeah, he'd know.
Yeah, so there's my nomination. It was a fairly recent one, but I like
It's
that
like if a matchstick broke in half, he'd know.
Well, there's those dispersions again.
So many accusations.
So
I know nothing.
Kyle, you go. What's your post?
Mine's the winner this week, and all you guys know it is.
What is
so,
it?
the Murray Newman walks out on Waffle Club, whatever, on the AFL main board. Silent Alarm, who is a much maligned Freo poster, who I personally don't mind. His opinion on the matter was, I think Clayton Collard, 1 game and 1 goal for Freo, did something similar. He refused to play the last half for South Fremantle or something. I think West Coast have to be one of the only clubs to refute a no dickhead policy. Now, that's all right, fair call, Silent Alarm. But the Harry West Coast supporter replied with, at least we don't have your no premiership policy. And that one has got over 200 likes.
Wow, just a simple one like that. And you know the funny thing about that is the Harry is also a law student. So who says lawyers don't have a sense of humour, eh?
Clearly.
Crime.
That's very funny. All right, Doc.
Alrighty. Okay, like I did last
should be
week,
good.
I'm going for obscure. I'm going for strange. I'm going for posts that make little to no sense. So this one is in the Woosha thread.
One of your own, is it?
Yeah, good one. Woosha thread discussing all things Woosha. It's from WCE 1986. One of his 79 posts made this year. He's quoted EP 2006's post of "How come we never play Brad Dick?" Just asking a simple question. And WC 1986 has replied, "Because Woosha is not comparing the meerkats, simples."
What the fuck is that?
That's great.
So
That's great.
his avatar is of that meerkat fella as well. So he's obviously a meerkat enthusiast and has answered a fairly rudimentary question with a bizarre reference. So it's got 1 like. I've now given it a second.
Only one.
I'm gonna find
You
it.
have to link us to it.
Okay, it's on page 34 of the Woosha thread. So go and find it and give him his dues.
Page
That's
30.
hilarious.
Yeah, it is indeed. Keys.
Okay, this is from the game day thread in the wash up of the match. It's from a guy. It stands at the moment as his one and only post, and it was in reply to Dark Sharks made a comment about getting around them in the finals, meaning Freo, and supporting Freo in the finals. And Maxi B has come on. Something had to give to motivate a lazy bastard like me to actually create an account, log in, and then punch the keyboard in such a way that the letters are in vaguely the right order. You know, some offence has been taken. I really like this site, respected more than a few posters for a long time. Sometimes I just log in to look at the abs and the avatars. They make me happy. The Scott stuff of the minute is in the inspired category. Really hard to top the propeller hat on Wolsey, but close, really close. Going on. However, when I read get around them in the finals, I take umbrage. Some might suggest a magnanimous, big picture kind of guy with a deep intellect might offer this perspective. Not me. I delight in their failure. Pav getting 3 has cheered me up just a bit, but apologist crap like get around him in the finals shits me to tears. Your underbelly has been exposed, and personally, I take the fins first, then the tail, and finally toss you over the side to flail helplessly. Get around him in the finals. Yeah, right.
Poor Dark Shanks.
The Shanks, yeah.
That's a good,
And that's it. That's his one post.
that
It's
is
a great
a
post as well.
that
I
is
thought
an
it was
absolute
fantastic.
sledge and a half.
Yep.
That's
I'll vote
that's
that.
not only that's not a sledge. He killed that guy.
Yeah,
He's dead. The
He's
Shanks is no
probably
more.
wanted for murder.
Yeah, look, I think my own reply to that was simple. I agreed with that, but I just said it in 3 words or 2 words. Hell no. That's my feelings on it. So sorry, Dark Sharks.
I just asked for 9,999 more of the same.
Yes,
No more or no less.
no more, no less. All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
But where's yours?
Mine, I already said mine.
He did his first.
Where's
Hell no.
yours?
Mine was Shoop.
Oh.
Talking about his broken
divvy.
dick.
Fair enough. So who wins?
Keys as well.
Keysers. Yeah, Keysers wins.
Jesus.
Yeah, well,
But
it's
200 likes.
I was going
yeah.
Shut up, Cole.
the no premiership policy because that was a cracker.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
ooh.
thought it was a cracker as well.
Ooh, so we got a draw, have we?
You can't vote for
I
yourself.
think that. Yes, I can. I've been voting for myself my whole life.
Are you
How do you think I became president of me?
Are you Kevin Rudd? Right, okay.
The Harry stood up for this football club on the main board and brought everyone together against Silent Alarm.
Yeah, okay. Well, given that it was Silent Alarm, yes. All right. Well, I'll change my vote to the Harry. The Harry wins. Well done, Harry, because you're a fellow law student. We love it. Get around him.
They're all
Around
good ones.
okay.
Congregate
You know
in
what?
the Harry's
We're all
general
winners.
vicinity.
We're all winners.
We are all winners. And on that note, it's time to go. I'll catch you later.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
See you later. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for being with us tonight.